Hey there. I wanted to do a video very specific to posture. So, posture is so important for all populations. And now more than ever, with phones and iPads and computers, we're developing worse posture than we ever have, plus a sedentary lifestyle. So, I wanted to do probably the top posture exercises that I would recommend. There are multiple that you can do, but there are certain muscle groups that you have to work for it to all come together. Working your posture in a bad position is not a good idea. So I am going to show you the standing exercises first, and then we're going to do the chair where you are doing a bent over exercises and doing one side versus the other, because sometimes when you do one side and then do the other side, you're going to find some imbalances more on one side than the other. And then we're going to do them on the floor where we're lying down, because sometimes when you get in that position, you're going to take out some of the problems that you're having. So if you have poor posture and you're in this position and you're trying to do posture exercises, it may not work out until you can get strong enough to do it in that position. So we'll also do those on the floor. So let's start with the standing exercises. Okay, standing posture exercises. I have a band. I have it knotted in the middle in a door. So some people tie it onto the door handle. That just doesn't work for me. It tends to fly off. The main thing that you have to think about, and this is a heavy band. So if you're starting with a band, you want to start off very light. Okay, so, and the reason why is because if you try to pull a band that is too difficult for you, you may injure yourself. And as far as if you're in a bad form, that's not good. So you will substitute with other muscle groups and cause other problems. We're just not going to have that. So we're going to start off with a W. So I'm going to show you from the back. So we're going to do a W, an I, a T, and a Y. So that's witty. So that's the way I want you to remember is witty. Your W, the first thing I want you to think about is your shoulder blades are back and down. That is a position that you maintain the entire time. Core muscles are engaged when you perform this. So I have even on both sides with my band, holding my shoulder blades back and down. I'm going to come back. And if you notice, my body is now in a position of a W. So the cool thing is we're going to do the WITY. We're going to stay with the same principles in all three positions. So here's your standing. There's your W. Let's do 8 to 10 repetitions of this, as long as you know you have that good form. I do pause. I like to feel this coming from the back. This is not an arm exercise. A lot of people do this wrong by bringing the elbows in here. That's not correct. So it's like a goalpost, but a little bit down. Arms are about a 45-degree angle. All four of these exercises work the postural muscles in a different way. We're going to move into the I, which is straight back. Remember, shoulder blades are back and down. And I haven't talked about breathing during this. What I want you to think about with your breathing is exhale on exertion. So straight back, exhale, bring it back in, exhale. So while I'm doing these 8 to 10 repetitions, and if you notice, I'm bringing it right to my hip. A lot of people will lean forward as they do this. You want to keep that body super straight. If you find yourself substituting, you need to go with a lighter band. All right, there is our I. Now I'm going to go into our T. I keep my thumbs up on a T. Some people do it this way. So I'm going to move this a little bit just so I don't hit the wall. Remember, shoulder blades back and down, straight back. Don't let it fall in. Control that. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Also, something that you want to avoid, and I'm going to show you the wrong way to do it. You want to avoid the upper traps elevating you this way. So if you notice, it does matter where you put the band in the door. You want it to be below chest height, but above hip height. So right about waist level. So we're going to do 8 to 10 repetitions of this, performing your T. People don't work the upper back enough. For posture, we have a tendency to work the muscles that we see, and these postural muscles are so important. Okay, so the Y. The Y is the most difficult. It's the one that a lot of people show substitution with, and that is something that I want to make sure you don't do. Even if the Y doesn't work with the band, I'm going to show you another way to do the Y. So I'm going to start off with the regular Y. My thumbs are up. I'm going to come up. Remember, shoulder blades back and down and back, coming into that Y position. Another way to make things easier, get closer to that door. This is one where your upper traps can really elevate. So I want to make sure that you're doing this with their shoulder blades back and down. 8 to 10 repetitions here. If you only get 6 repetitions, that is fine as well. I'm going to quickly show you another way to do the Y. So I'm going to hold the band. Now I'm going to turn. Let's see which way we can see this better. Probably this way. I'm against the wall. I'm about 4 to 6 inches away from the wall. I'm going to come up, back. Let me do that again. I'm going to come up. I've got this here. I'm going to come into that Y position so I have tension on that band. Here and down. Up. Pull back. So that's another way to do the Y if you're uncomfortable. You can also do that completely without the band. Coming up. Pull back. Notice my hand position. Bring it in. So that's another option. If you don't feel your form is good, start with this exercise. Okay, let's move on to the chair and do some unilateral work. Okay, so I'm using a chair. You can use whatever is comfortable for you. You can use a table or a countertop or a step bench or a bench if you have a workout bench. I'm using a chair just because I know everybody has a chair in the house. So unilateral work with or without a weight. Always start this without a weight and we'll progress from there. So you can, to protect your back, get into a kneeling position with this back knee on a chair or on a step, however you want to do it. So we're going to go through the same exercises that we did in standing. W, I, T, Y. I'm going to do it with no weight. So first thing I'm going to do is get into that 45-degree angle position with my arm, and I'm going to come up into that W. Up. So I have to think about, how did I do that in standing? So the elbow is at about a 45-degree angle. Coming up, and I can really feel the difference when I do this only on one side. So there's your W. You want to go for 8 to 10 repetitions with that. Don't take that too quickly. And progress in small increments if you're going to use weight. So if you feel like 8 to 10 repetitions with that was absolutely nothing, you don't want to go to a 5-pound weight immediately. You want to go to a 1-pound weight and increase very, very small increments if you're going to be performing with weights. Now, The next exercise, a little bit easier, is going to be that I. If you notice, my back is super straight as well. So this is my I. This one is different from the W in that you could probably progress the weight a little bit quicker than you would be able to with the W or the Y. So, and the difference is there's a rotational component when you involve the W and the Y, and it's a little bit more of a vulnerable position. And we don't want to injure the shoulder. So this does not really incorporate any rotation. It's more for the rear delt, but wonderful for your posture. Okay, let's go into the T. So there are two ways to do the T. One is with palm facing. So this position and coming up into your T. You can also do it with a thumb up position, which does bring in a little bit of rotation with it. You do not need to take the arm way past the body, only to the body. Remember where the shoulder blades are, back and down. Sometimes when you're performing these, you may have to take a break on that other side for that wrist. Now also watch where your arm comes up and comes down, because if your upper trap is involved, it'll creep up on you. So you want to make sure that you're keeping that in line, perpendicular to the body. All right, so Y. The Y is going to be this position, thumb up. Remember, you do not need to come way up here. You just want to get even with your body. So I'm going to just perform these on one side and move on into the floor work. Make sure your shoulder blades when you're performing that Y are back and down. Okay, so there is your unilateral work. You could also perform the unilateral work on the edge of a bed. So if you're lying down and want to perform that on the edge of the bed, that works as well. These exercises, the WITY, are good for so many different populations. It's also good for people with neck problems, people with shoulder problems. If someone has shoulder impingement or rotator cuff issues, this would be an excellent program to do. So it is strengthening the upper back and getting that ready so that then you can deal with the rotator cuff issues after that. So anytime you go into a therapist for neck pain, shoulder problems, you're going to be working on your posture. Very important. Okay, so I am on my stomach on the floor for prone WITY. Prone is just going to eliminate any type of substitution. Now, there are some people that can't get in the prone position because they have back problems. You can put a pillow underneath your abdominals, which is going to help with that. Let's move into, I'm going to do it without a pillow. Let's move into our WITY. Another thing that you can add if you have neck problems or if you don't want to hold your head up in a certain position, a towel roll right under your forehead will just kind of let your head hang naturally here. So, W. Again, I've got that 45-degree angle. I'm going to cross my feet just because it feels better on my low back. And I'm going to come up. Now, I've already thought about shoulder blades back and down. If you're more comfortable here, bring the head down, but I would prefer if you use a towel roll there. Every one of the WITY exercises are important for posture. You'll also see in other videos that I've done posture pulls. Posture pulls are the T part of WITY. And they're real basic and can be done anywhere, at any time. You can do them in your car. You may not need to move your arms. You can just squeeze your shoulder blades. So this is, again, 8 to 12 repetitions. And what I would probably start off with is I'm going straight into my eye. Is no weight. You can increase extremely slowly. Like I said, this is on the unilateral part of it, where we were doing one side at a time with the chair. These are smaller muscle groups, and the shoulder is very vulnerable, so you have to be cautious as far as adding weights. If you're strong and have been working on exercises like this for a while, I'd go ahead and add weights. But I probably wouldn't go too high with your weights. So there's your I, your T. Two positions. There's this position or this position. I'm going to do both. I'm going to do my first 5. This is not an arm lift exercise. This is a shoulder blade squeezing exercise. Again, shoulder blades are back and down. Again, if you want that towel roll underneath your forehead, put that there. Now I'm going to have the thumbs up. Feel a little bit different with that. Again, every now and again, do a body check. Make sure your shoulder blades are back and down. Low back is protected. Head and neck are relaxed, either on a towel roll, but you're not looking up like this. All right, and then that was your T. Now we're going to go into Y. Just scoot back a little bit so we can really see this part of it. So I'm in this position. I'm not here. Coming out a little bit to the side. My thumbs are up, as you can see. I come up and down. The main thing I'm focusing on here is not straining my neck, keeping those shoulder blades back and down, and not worrying about trying to get up past my head. You really don't need to go that far. It's a very small but effective movement. Our upper trapezius muscles, these muscles here, get very overactivated. A lot of times that causes our neck pain. It's because we don't have that good balance in the other muscle groups that could help the upper traps out and keep the upper traps from knotting up on you. Again, 8 to 12 repetitions of that. And those are the basic. There's so many posture exercises, but those are the basics that are going to help you maintain good posture. Progress slowly. I would rather you progress in repetitions than add weights. Have a good day.